What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We're going to be diving into a little guy that came in recently, another Kaiser that's going to be on the table. So without further ado, let's head to the top down. All right. So we have another Kaiser, and this is the Kaiser Banish. Before we get too far into that, though, I want to go ahead and say thank you to anybody who's already liked and subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. We just got brand new stickers, so if you want to send us something, you can head over to Instagram, follow us at WorkKnifeBalance939, and communicate with us there. We'll send you back some stickers and some swag as a way to say thank you for letting us check out your knife. This is the Kaiser Banish, and this is a Jacob Lundquist knife right here. Absolutely loving this thing. This is a really little knife. This is a fantastic little fifth pocket knife, and it's got some sweet action. It is a button lock here, 154 cm, and one of the most impressive things about this, I think, is the price, and it's coming in at about 50 bucks, just under that. So let's go ahead and do some tip to tail measurements. We'll do some side-by-side comparisons. I've got big knives to compare it to. I've got one small knife over here that we'll look at and compare it to. But other than that, I'll give you my impressions and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and get started. We are looking at about 5 1/4 inches, just a little over. So we'll say 5.3 on the overall length. We'll say 2 1/4 on the cutting edge, with about 2 inches on 2 1/4 on the blade length, 2 1/4 on the cutting edge. 2 1/4 on the blade length, 2 on the cutting edge. Thank you very much. Wow, that was so challenging for me to keep those numbers all in a row and lined up like that. So yeah, you got a couple different deployment methods. I think you can have a nice little front flipper off the top like that. It's designed for it, and it's really nice and easy. I can't do anything other than that bic. I tried this and it was just a little tricky. You might be able to get in here and do this if you can get a good grip on it, but it is so small, it is hard to get that good grip on it. There we go. So you can do kind of a reach over, reach around top like that as well, but I think the bic is the easiest for the front flipper. And then you have the deployment hole, which you can do a reverse flick and a thumb flick off of. And then if you so choose, you can press the button and then whip it out as well. Not my favorite with button deployment methods. I don't love doing that, but it is there if you would like to do that because it's a button lock. So yeah, button lock knife. We already talked about how it is 154 cm. We'll look at that right up here. And it is a Jacob Lundquist designed knife. Absolutely love some of the stuff that Jacob Lundquist has been putting out over the last 1.5 or 2 years. For our first side-by-side comparison, we will pull out another Jacob Lundquist. We're going to go ahead and look at the Kaiser Veritas. Kaiser and Jacob Lundquist have been doing some amazing things, like I said, over the last year. This is a much smaller version of some really cool stuff. But one thing I noticed when I started looking at Lundquist's design is a lot of his knives have this squared out area for the deployment method, for that hole. So I think that might be just a design taste of a lot of Lundquist design knives. And if so, now I'm going to start realizing that and seeing that on all these knives. I'm like, oh, that's a Lundquist design. And you can easily pick it out like you can easily pick out Ray Laconico knives. So then we've got the Civivi Button Lock Elementum as well to compare to. We've got the CJRB Warney Pyrite to compare to right there. We'll go ahead and grab the NAFS Lander 2 as well. We'll throw that one up top. And then as we're kind of breaking down, getting away from bigger knives, I'm going to go ahead and pull out a back lock. This is the Spyderco Dragonfly. So you can see a really good side-by-side comparison in size with that Spyderco Dragonfly. Obviously, two completely different ergonomic knives. Different styles, different locks, everything, but a really good size comparison. So there you got that with the Dragonfly. You can see that it's a pretty good size comparison to a Spyderco Dragonfly, which this is one of my favorite Spydercos that I own. Not because of the size, but that does have something to play into it as well. So yeah, you've got micarta scales on this. There are a couple different versions that this comes in. I believe you can get a darker micarta scale on this as well, and I believe you can get a satin finish on it, or someone that I saw had theirs just did something to the blade, so it's no longer treated with that black. I don't think it's a PVD coating, but it is just a black colored blade to it. So I don't think it's PVD or anything like that. It is just a black wash blade to it. So Yeah, this is a pretty sweet little cutter. It's a pretty sweet little, like, nice box opener, fifth pocket knife, whatever you want to call. For being how small it is, you do get a decent purchase price on the handle. It does just kind of vanish in your hand. It is definitely a baby vanish. It vanishes, it disappears in your hand right there. So if you do have bigger hands, this is probably going to be way too small for you, even for a small knife. But I really love it. It does fit my hand pretty well. And you get really good tip control with the size of the hand. And with that Lundquist designed deployment hole, I can actually anchor in with my middle finger right there and have a lot of really good control over the knife. So I do appreciate that. And I appreciate the back swoop to the knife, because as you're holding it, especially doing something like that, it kind of cradles back into your hand versus falling out of your hand for a small knife. So I thought that was, I don't know if that was designed to do that specifically or whatnot, but it did fit pretty nice with the way that I was using the knife and cutting the knife as well. You have a reversible clip. It's a deep carry clip that's just kind of a bent over steel clip. You can see it right there, recessed in, and then you've got the other side right here. The screws are recessed in. The clip actually sits above the micarta scales, so you can kind of see the screws recessed down in there, but the clip sits above. It's got a decent retention. It's nothing crazy or anything like that, but it works. And then the actual action on the knife is pretty good. It's a small knife, so you don't have to do a lot for it to really whip out there or for it to kind of close down. But it does what it needs to do, and Kizer has been hitting it out of the park with a lot of knives. One thing I will say is, after having a couple of Vosteed top locks, and I know there's a couple of you who are probably sick of hearing about it already, button locks have lost their kind of like spark to me. I was never a huge button lock fan, but I liked how easy button locks were, and now after having the Vosteed top lock, which is very similar to like a Spyderco smock, I really just, this does nothing for me now. It's fun, it's cool, but I would much rather have that top lock feel. It was just a fantastic knife. So, as I said, this is coming in about 45 bucks. There will be some links below. If it's an Amazon link, it supports our channel. If not, it's just for you to check out some sweet knives. I got nothing else to say. This is the Kizer Banish from Jacob Lundquist, a fantastic design. Until next time, TTFN.